Next up, at UFC Abu Dhabi, we have Jai Herbert taking on Rolando Bedoya. Jai Herbert 12-5 in his career, taking on Rolando Bedoya 14-3 in his career. And this is an interesting matchup because we got Rolando Bedoya moving around weight classes just a teensy-weensy bit. But he's going to be sort of in for it because he's taking on Jai Herbert. Jai Herbert's a technical striker. He likes to fight at range. He does have good movement. His feet are never planted for more than a second or two. He's always cutting angles, feinting, moving from side to side. He's a little low volume, so he takes too much time when he's out there. And he does have a negative striking differential. He's coming off that decision loss to Faraz Ziam where the inactivity was the issue. But if you go back a few years, didn't Jai Herbert drop the current featherweight champion? Had him on ice skates just a little bit. He's taking on Rolando
What the
Bedoya.
fuck was that?
What?
Like the
Jai
voice
Herbert
inflection and stuff, and like you were like, but didn't he?
Just a reminder
But
that
it was like you were telling like a fairy tale or something. Like you're reading.
Well, it wasn't a fairy tale. It happened in real life. He had him on ice skates. Ilia Topuria was almost knocked out by Jai Herbert.
He was knocked out.
I mean, he was plunk, just like a sack of potatoes.
He did what now?
Plunk, like a sack of potatoes.
Can you do that in your chair? Make that noise? I want to see you jiggle. I want to see you jiggle a little bit.
He's taking on Rolando Bedoya. Rolando Bedoya is a pretty busy striker. He's an in-and-out guy, lots and lots of movement, good variety with the strikes that he's using. He will work in kicks. He will work in combinations. What he does seem to lack, though, is that one-punch raw knockout power. He's never throwing just one strike at a time. He's always moving forward, just busy, busy, busy. It keeps him ahead on some scorecards. He is also very hittable, but a pretty durable guy in his own right. Takedown defense is pretty solid. He does have submissions if he ends up on the ground. He's coming off a decision loss to Song Kanan, where he did get dropped, but the output was absolutely insane, even with the dropping. Jai Herbert's going to be the more technical striker in this matchup. But he's Leon-esque. He takes too much time. He does not let his hands go. It's like one strike here, one strike there, waiting for the perfect moment. And while he's waiting for his perfect moment, Rolando Bedoya is just going to be marching forward, throwing whatever the hell he wants to straight away. And I think Rolando Bedoya is going to pull this off. He's just going to be bouncing around, super busy, moving forward like crazy, and I think he absolutely pulls it off. I think he's going to land more than 100 strikes, as he has done in quite a few of his fights. So Rolando's going to be the pick, and I threw a little bit of money on him at plus 145. What do you think, Elmo?
What are we going to bet on this one?
I already bet.
Dude, don't do that bullshit.
I'll do the other half a unit. I'll do $50.
$50. I have a bet with a guy in Discord. That what's the next bet, Marcus, for $400 on a fight coming up.
That's great. That's between you two. I have children to raise. You guys have cats.
You just spent $1,900 on shrimp
To feed them. We
how
fed
many
them.
how many kinds of shrimp can you name?
White shrimp apparently is a thing.
No, how many times? How can you prepare shrimp?
Oh, wasn't there
shrimp.
30 at Red Lobster?
Fry shrimp.
No, didn't Red
shrimp.
Lobster have like 30? That was their whole thing.
Shrimp.
All right, come on. Who do you think
You
wins
need to know
this
that
fight?
that's from?
Yeah, Bubba Gump.
There you go. Nice. Well done.
He's a Bubba
I'm
Gump
on the.
shrimp right smack in
excuse
time.
me.
I've
I'm on
called
the,
you
excuse me.
Lieutenant Dan
I'm on
before
the,
because of how short you
Excuse
are.
me. I am. He had no legs. Lieutenant Dan.
I have no
New legs. That's one of the best parts. Lieutenant Dan, new legs.
Go ahead.
Did I do my breakdown?
No, we're just waiting. You're enjoying life a little too much, and you're very off task.
Yeah. So Jai Herbert. Okay, yeah. Because I knew you were gonna bet. Let me go to my script here. Offer Angelo bet. He will say no. And then let's talk about Rolando, because Rolando is a tough guy. He tries to roll with stuff in the pocket. He is a forward pressure striker, and he is probably gonna be moving forward in this fight. But to me, his striking is just not to the level of a guy like Jai Herbert. Jai Herbert should be able to tee off on this guy with his straight shots. Rolando is a guy that doesn't really have a jab. He doesn't set anything up his hands. He tries to set up his hands with his kicks. He's got a good calf kick, and he'll fire that calf kick, and he'll fire that calf kick. But when you start throwing naked calf kicks, that's when you can really get into issues, especially with long, rangy strikers like a Jai Herbert. Also, when Rolando goes in, it is not like tight, technical striking. He kind of just throws these looping lollipop hooks, doesn't have a ton of power behind him, and he just hopes that he can kind of roll with certain stuff coming back his way. And he does a good job up to this point, right? Jai Herbert, I know he's kind of been struggling lately, but as you mentioned, he pretty much knocked out Ilia Topuria. He fights and beats a Kyle Nelson, who has aged beautifully up to this point. He goes to a draw with Ludwig Klein. Ludwig Klein is doing really, really well. And then a Fares Ziam. He loses a close decision versus Fares. I think all four of those people smoke Rolando. So I do believe this is a major step down in competition for Jai Herbert. Yeah, maybe he hasn't looked great, but that's probably against competition that probably is a little bit better than him. I don't think Rolando is a little bit better than him. I think he's a little bit below him, especially in the technical striking. So I think Jai Herbert, with that counter striking style, will be able to kind of hurt Rolando and stop that moving forward. But if he is able to just kind of work through and move forward with volume, he's shown that he can do that. I think Jai is just a little bit too technical for him.
This woman's like analyzing your nose, not realizing that it's sunscreen.
Hey, Catherine, I know we've had our differences in the past, but read a fucking room. I'm in Brazil. And
you have a history of skin cancer.
I am a cancer survivor, Catherine. Yeah. Don't ever forget that. So I'm taking the precautions that I don't, because and God bless Brazil. I love them, right? It's been nice being here. But I think the medical care could be a little bit better. So I'm trying not to get cancer in Brazil. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Oh, you texted. Okay.
I just wanted to point that out.
I didn't realize. I silence my phone for the people. I don't get distracted.
I got a lot going on, man. $8,600 in DraftKings for Jai Herbert, 76. I will spend that 76 on Rolando Bedoya.
You want to talk about
because
it? You okay?
Yes.
Yes, you want to talk about it? Or yes.
There's an electrician putting in an outlet outside, and he has to shut off the breaker for where he's putting the outlet. Yeah, it's gonna be real. You got
this guy working out in your house at 8:00 on a Tuesday. This poor guy. It was his choice. He probably missed soccer practice for his kids, and
he was here at 10 a.m. and then at like 4 was like,
how long you gonna work this guy?
And at 4, he's like, I gotta get some stuff. And I was like,
I gotta go say hi to my kids. I gotta go pick my kids up.
He's like 30. I was like, come back tomorrow if you want. He's like, I'm just gonna get it done tonight.
Just because you didn't have sex till 40 doesn't mean other people aren't. Well, you can have kids at 30, Angelo.
It's gonna be a real thing if the breaker that he's shutting off is the one in this office.
Oh, for the people, I have a battery backup on my system, so if it goes off for a second,
oh great,
we're good to go.
Yeah, it shouldn't be my office. It should be the kitchen. Anyway,
don't worry. If it happens, I got us. I will carry the show.
Thank God.
Do you want to test? You want to test me right now? Watch how good I can lead this.
What I do want to do though is say that I will have Rolando Bedoya in my DraftKings lineup at $7,600. The striking volume alone. This dude is landing enormous amounts of strikes, both significant and regular. And ultimately, that does add up. And we're talking sub $8,000 price point. I'll take that in my DraftKings lineup. Do you trust Jai enough to spend $8,600 on him, or you're just like, he might win because he lost to good people? Is that your analysis?
Is the electrician a premium member?
I don't talk to people about this. I don't just like
you
talk
have
to
an issue
you
with
watch my YouTube show.
You have an issue with blue-collar workers, Angelo? That guy's just trying to make a lead. You can't say hi to a blue-collar worker just doing his job. You can't be cordial with them. Personally, Angelo, and I understand. I understand this is a Northeast thing, probably, right? But me being a heart of the ocean, Midwest guy,
heart of the ocean,
Midwest guy, at my core, those blue-collar people. That's what runs this country, Angelo. That's what drives this country. So I want to thank my brothers and my sisters, blue-collar workers, doing everything they can to support the infrastructure of this country. And I appreciate them every single day, and I think they are the backbone of this country.
Yeah. The point I was making there is I don't just like meet people and say, I have a YouTube channel. So that's where I was going with that. Do you trust Jai Herbert with $8,600 of your DraftKings salary? You like him that much? Or he lost to good people, so he's going to win here.
Why did you say that again?
Because you didn't answer the first time.
You like that setup so much? You
accent.
thought that sounded so good the first time? You were like, let me say that again.
No, it's because after I said
Excuse me, I'm trying to get this breakdown.
Kicked in.
Yeah, so Jai Herbert, I don't think is going to be able to live up to that DraftKings. Let's try and stay on task.
Yeah, that would be nice. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. Then you would be a premium member, and you would have access to the picks, the bets, the tools, the greatest research tool in history that we released last week, and it'll include an entire month's worth of events, which gets you all the way to UFC 305 with Dreekis and Izzy.